start chatting if you want. We will be live here shortly.
Well, I'll wait till we're live.
Okay, go for it, Phil.
I see an ad running. Skip. Okay, it appears we are now live. This is Phil Simborg, USBGF teaching pro for about the last 20 years. And I'm a partner in Backgammon Learning Center. And I am very, very proud and happy to be doing the commentary today on a very important match as part of the USBGF Online Championships, which is really a major event, 450 entrants. And they play Swiss with, I think you have to have 5 losses to be knocked out. It's going to be a lot of rounds. And we have 2 very fine players today that I'm going to have the pleasure of watching and commentating on. Let's start with Andi Walther, who is a member of the Madison Backgammon Club, and he has moved to Berlin. He's a scientist. I really don't know Andi. I don't know anything about his game. I understand he's a decent player. We'll see. And I wish him a lot of luck. His opponent, Ted Chee, I think anybody in the backgammon world in the United States knows him. I haven't seen Ted outside the country. I may be wrong, but he's been the #1 player in ABT a couple times. He won the US Open, but he's most famous for his mini matches. He enters over and over and over in every tournament and usually ends up winning. And the reason I know this so well is he beats me all the time. I make it a point to enter whenever he is because I really love playing the guy. He's just such a good sport and so good for the game. He also runs the club in the Bay Area, a couple clubs there, and just great for the game. I'm not rooting for him particularly, but it's always nice to see friends win. So we'll see what happens. I do a lot of commentary around the world championships in Cyprus and Dubai, a lot of major tournaments. People like my commentary who are at lower levels because I try to explain things that are going on that maybe they aren't aware of, like why gammons don't matter or do matter, or take points are higher or lower, to help them appreciate the game more and try and make it a little bit more interesting for them. Top players would probably be very bored with hearing these things over and over again, and I always tell top players to just turn the sound off, because my goal in doing commentary is to make it more interesting. The top players know what's going on. They're going to look at things in XG anyway. I want to make it more interesting for the masses and hopefully get more people to play the game by understanding more about what's going on. So you're going to hear me talking about some basic things along the way. I will be watching the chat as much as I can. If you have a question or if I'm getting something wrong or you have a comment, I'd love to see it. This is all thanks to the USBGF. Pretty much set up and run by Stuart Steen Connolly, the USBGF marketing director, who has arranged this streaming and lassoed me into doing this. And they're paying me big bucks for this. I think I get a cup of coffee at the next tournament. By the way, the next tournament I'll be there in Washington, D.C., the Cherry Blossom, which is a great one. And I mentioned some other tournaments coming up soon. I'm also going to most of the other tournaments that are coming up soon. I try to make as many as I can in the U.S. and all the big ones I can overseas. So with that said, we're ready to start. And Stu is going to notify the players to get going. You're going to see that Andi is the top player. He's Mad Towner, and Ted Chee is the bottom player. He's black. The match is to 11 points. The first one to get to 11 points wins, and you get a point by winning a game. It's that simple. The doubling cube can be used by either player whenever it's their turn to roll. They can double the stakes. You can start right now. It says 64, but it really should say 1. They're playing for 1 point, and most cubes don't happen to have the 1 on it, so they start with the 64. When they turn the cube to 2, the player can accept, and now the game is worth 2 points. Or he can reject and quit, and the player automatically wins the 1 point. If you take the cube on 2, you can, if you have the cube on 2, you can always put it back and make it 4, and the other player can reject, and the winner wins 2, and or you're playing for 4 points. So that's how the cube works. It can go back to 8 and so on. There's one other rule in match play that does not apply to normal heads up or money play, and that's when one player reaches 12. When he's 1 point away from winning, we have what's called the Crawford rule, where nobody can double that game for 1 game. Okay, so we're waiting for the players to start. And while we're waiting, I would urge everybody in the world to join the USBGF. You don't have to be an American to be a member of the USBGF, and there are many, many people outside because the benefits are fantastic. The magazine is great. There are 250 plus free videos that I made, many times with guests, very top players of my guests, John O'Hagan, Perry Gardner, Stick, Steve Sachs, and they're all free teaching videos. There's a lot of articles. There's discounts to various things you can do in backgammon. Of course, you can get involved in playing live in USBGF events as well. I'm seeing that somebody's questioning whether it's 11 points or 13 points. So we'll see that happen soon. And again, if you have any questions, if I go too fast, or you have comments or suggestions, drop them in the chat. Hit the like button. Follow the USBGF matches, and you'll see many more. This is the 3rd round, by the way. I think they both have 1 loss. Little background, the Backgammon Learning Center, my partner Perry Gardner and I started it many years ago. We were both teaching, and we got way too many students, so we immediately brought on more teachers. We've got some really good ones. Mochi, David Wells, Steve Sachs, John O'Hagan, Marty Storer, Dirk Sheeman, some of the best players and teachers in the world, David Presser in Israel. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Go to our website, backgammonlearningcenter.com, and we're going to be bringing out a whole bunch of new teachers to work with beginners, because we're making a major thrust to bring more beginners into the game and give them lessons at much lower rates, and even some group lessons and videos. Our whole goal is to grow the game, and I think it's working. The game is growing fantastically. Okay, I was informed it was an 11-point match, but the players are playing a 13-point match, and they're the bosses. So here we go. That 6-3, I don't think is the opening roll. If it was, it would be White's 6-3, but I don't think they've actually started the match yet. You see they have a clock, 26 minutes on the clock. And it's 2 minutes per point of games. So there's 13 games, so you get 26 minutes. I actually like a shorter time period. I believe they have a 12-second delay, which means every time it's their turn, they get 12 seconds free without having any time come off the clock. And again, I like 10 seconds. That's what they're using in the IBF tournament in Uzbekistan going on right now. $500,000 money added. That's so good for the game to start pumping more money in. We need more money and sponsors to bring more masses into the game. I think that's why poker got so big. It's about the money. The game certainly is nowhere near as much fun or interesting as backgammon. Okay. Clickety click. I see things happening. They're playing on Heroes, if you're not familiar with that site. I play on Heroes from time to time. I play on Galaxy, play on Grid Gammon, I play on Gammon Site, but I don't play a lot online. I'm too busy teaching and playing live and traveling. All right, we're seeing.
Okay, Go ahead.
All kinds of stuff here.
For some reason, I was on a frozen game and it was showing that the game hadn't started. So, but now they apparently had a different game. Anyway, all better now.
Okay, so they have started. They have started, and you can see they're well into the game. So we got a little bit, we were frozen. So let's go see what's going on here. I have to like Ted's position better. By the way, I love Pratt. Position, race, and threats is a way to analyze how you stand, and it helps you decide whether to double and what your strategy is. And it's nice to have those 4 points that Ted has. So we got a little chat in the way and a little stuff messing up the board. Okay, so it appears that white is on roll because I see the dice are white, and he's coming from the bar, and there's no way in hell he would be considering doubling at this point. If he did roll a double six, he danced, and I need to see how we know that black is on roll. So okay, so white rolled a 1-5, comes in and hits. And now he's got a 1-4 backgammon, which is not the best backgammon in the world. But if it's well timed, it's not terrible. And it's certainly right for Ted not to be doubling right now because he doesn't have a market loser. Well, what does that mean? There's no roll or rolls where it's likely that his opponent would pass on the next roll. So you don't think about doubling until you think your opponent would pass, or you think it's very likely that he might pass on the next roll. John O'Hagan came up with O'Hagan's law of market losers, which basically says if you're going to lose your market about a fourth of the time, you should double. So this is nowhere near a double, obviously, for either party. You're almost never going to see a double from a player who's in the back game. So that's a little surprising to me that he comes off the 4 point. I think I wouldn't do that to hit. I don't think it's worth it. And now he puts it back and thinks about something else. I would have played from the 24 point out. So just because I disagree with the play doesn't mean they're wrong. If I would played perfectly, I wouldn't be wasting my time teaching and doing commentary. I'd be sitting there playing, I'd be in Uzbekistan right now, which I really wanted to go to, but I had a gig in Peru that I couldn't turn down, lecturing and playing in a tournament there, and also spending some time with my family there. So if it hadn't been for Peru, I would have been in Uzbekistan, and I'm considering Georgia. But again, I have a lot of commitments elsewhere, so we'll see. I'd rather be in an ABT tournament because I've got a lot more friends that I'm seeing all the time. Of course, I have friends overseas too, but I just love the way ABT is run, and the tournaments are far, far better and more professional than they ever were when I started playing this game 200 years ago. So as I said, after this, I'm going to Washington, D.C. Well, I'm going to New York. I'm in Florida right now. That's where I live. But I spend about half my time in New York. So I'll be in New York for about a week and then go to the Washington, D.C. tournament. Then I'm going to head to the tournament in Denver. There's a little event going on after that in Las Vegas. I certainly want to try to make Charlotte. I'll definitely make Chicago. It's my hometown, family there, and I love the tournament. I almost never miss the Novi tournament over the 4th of July, and I plan to make it this year as well. I always love LA. New Orleans might be a problem for me because it's a slight conflict with the tournament that I run in Jamaica, in Ocho Rios, around the same time, but I think I might be able to make both. I was in New Orleans last year, and it was a blast. I love the tournament, love the city. Okay, what's going on here is that the back game is progressing nicely. He's turning it, maybe going into a front game. He may get caught in the switches here. It's what a term I learned from Jim Pasco. Playing a back game and a front game at the same time is usually not too productive. But he's getting himself hit, which is good for timing. The problem with the back game, though, is it gets gammoned a lot. And I like Ted's double here. He activated gammons. He'd rather gamble and go 4 points. When I say I like his double, he's doubling a game that nobody would drop, I don't think. But I think with this many checkers back and the gammons as high as they are, I think it's a very good double. Happy to look and see what XG says about the cube. You certainly don't want to win an undoubled gammon. You want to really punish him, and he is. With this many checkers back, when your opponent's already timed, you want to overtime him by hitting everything you can. Often you don't want to hit checkers when they're in a back game, but it's called overtiming. And the beauty of this is, let's pretend that that Ted gets hit. How bad is that? To get hit when your opponent can't make a point very well. So Andi doesn't have much wood on the other side of the board to make too many points and contain him, even if Ted were to leave a shot. So I like the double quite a bit. He's got to come out to preserve his board. You don't want to go deep. Andi would love to roll 3s and 6s to get off the ace point. There's a 6. I would slot the 4. No, make points on the other side. You're not going to get off the gammon by running. I think you need to slot the 4 and try and make points so that when you get the shot, you got a decent board. And by now he would have made that 4 point, which would be a big difference if you get the shot. So I did not like that play. You're gonna be successful if you've got a good board. Like right now, he should make his bar point. He did. Good. 4-1. You simply come off the top. Nothing else to play. Now it gets tricky. Okay, here comes the first double shot, and he misses. This is why back games are so dangerous. They win a lot and they get gammoned a lot. This is why I like Ted's cube. Now, Ted was very aggressive there to peel. I'm not sure he was right. I'm not sure you don't play from the top. So right now he would have cleared instead of leaving a shot. But it doesn't hurt to leave shots if you don't get hit. What's worse than leaving a shot? Missing it. Oh my God. Backgammon City. Coup classique. Oh no, he needs a 1 or he gets backgammon or double. He got a 1. Wow, this is very exciting. I hope you can appreciate how exciting that sequence was for him to leave a 1 and get hit, which stopped a backgammon. It might even win him the game. If he can close the board, he's going to win about 8% of the time, but he's not always going to close this board. His goal is to make us 8 points, so you should be slotting the 8 point. Well, not so necessarily you slot behind the 4 point, but I would have slotted the 8 point. It's okay to just put checkers in play, get to the 11, go to the. Yeah, see, if he had slotted that 8 point and made it now, he would be in much better shape. It's going to come up, of course. He must hit. Now he slots the 8 point. So he's looking really good to possibly save this gammon. He should cover the 3. And I would make the 8. Stop 2-6 and have that point. He did. Good. Whoops. Nope. Dance. Keep builders. Get another builder for the 7 point. get another direct builder for the 7 point. Move to the 11. That's it. Perfect play. And the joker. Lots of return shots. That's one of them. Okay, remake the 7. You do with the ace. Come out wherever you are. He stands a very, now I still slot the 8 point. It's the right play. Sliding the back of a 5 prime is almost always right, because the only thing that hurts you is a 2-6. The guy never rolls that, does he? Uh-oh. I come in on the 2 and clear the checker from the 12 so I don't get hit. Good play. And he doesn't get hit. He needs 1s and 6s. Got him. That's 24 numbers. 2/3 of the time. I don't know about slotting the 2 there. I wouldn't have done that. He didn't need to, but now he's got his prime. Now he's very, very likely and almost certainly going to get off the gammon, which is a very, very lucky thing for Andi. And again, he can win about 8% of the time, which 8% is a big number for backgammon. We see 1% and 2% things happening all the time. You hit here. No. You hit. You always hit. Best way to make the point. Hit. Maybe I was wrong and he couldn't. Maybe I misread it. All right, this is not a really good bear-off position. This 8% probably went to 5%. But he rolled great. Those are 2 great bear-off numbers. He should peel, leave a blot. Not 2 blots. Maybe 2 blots is okay, but I don't see 2 blots. I'd rather get hit if he rolls a 4. Yeah, these are tough to win. And I'm not sure he played it well. I'm not sure he played it badly, but he made some plays I wouldn't have made. I like the hit. Let's have some fun. It worked. Okay. 5-2. These are fun. Look how fast they're playing. I like that. Ted has always been a very fast player, but Andi really is keeping up with him. Game over. There's no need to hit. Right. Hitting would just give him another shot. All right. It was a good tumble by Ted. Very, very lucky for Andi not to get backgammon, much less gammoned. So they're both unhappy. Ted's unhappy he didn't get a backgammon. Andi's unhappy that he lost 2 points. And that's good backgammon if you both walk away unhappy. You hit rather than make the bar here. Given a choice between hitting your opponent off his 5 point and making your bar, to me, is a no-brainer. How can he take so much time on this? Okay, he did hit. He was thinking about the 3, I guess. In the early game, you ask yourself, can I hit? Can I make a point? Or can I play strategically? Or Steve Sachs says, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Hit, make a point, or run your back checkers. But often it's not just run the back checker. It might be something else you could do to slot or bring a checker down. But it's a pretty good way to think about the early game. Hitting is almost always better than making a point. The exception being sometimes with a 1-3, you make the 5 point. Or with double ones, you may not hit them and you might make 2 points. But most of the time, you'd rather hit than make a point in the early game. I have another saying, you don't let your opponent live in the early game on your 5 point or 4 point. Sometimes even the 3 point you'll hit loose. Yes, you're going to get hit back a lot. Yes, it hurts a lot, but it's simply better, been proven better by the computer and by the top players to hit rather than let them live. And when I say by the computer, we mean the gold standard right now is extreme gammon. And until something comes along better, we're going to call it the gold standard. But a lot of people are working on things, including extreme gammon, and improving. So I guarantee you we're going to see some improvements soon. I've got a program that I helped develop that uses AI to explain the play. It's called Sage. And it's really cool. You make a mistake and it explains it just as if I was sitting there explaining it to you. It'll be available soon. This double, I think, is a little early. I would not have doubled there. But it's not a bad double. He certainly is leading here. But the fact that he's also ahead in the match, even though it's 2-0 in a match to 13, is another reason I would hesitate to double a little bit. But his position, race, and threats are all pretty good. Yeah, it probably was a double, now that I think about it. I might have missed that double, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was right. Certainly was a take. When you're holding at a point your opponent's board, the 3-point, 4-point, 5-point higher, you're usually not going to get gammoned very much. So how much are you risking by taking the cube if you're only going to lose one more point? And holding the cube gives you great power. So again, I would have grabbed that cube, but I'm not sure I would have doubled. Now this double 6 is a fantastic roll, and I would call it a big swing roll or joker, and there may be a redouble coming right away. I would redouble here. I absolutely would redouble here. I'm sure to make the 5-point. I've got him trapped on the ace point. I'm losing 2-0. I like to be aggressive. I'm not positive it's a take, so probably is a take, and Ted is a taker. I love the redouble. And I told you Ted was a taker. Look how quick he grabbed it. You make the 5 and leave a shot and hope. Oh, he played safely. It might have been right. The one thing I know is you make the 5. This is my play. I leave the 4 now. Well, he's still got a blot in his inner board. I don't like dumping a checker to the 2. But it could be right. I would not have made that play. So now he's going to be forced to leave the shot when his opponent's board is better than it was before. So why not do it last time? And he gets hit now. So hindsight is always right. This proves that I was right to leave to volunteer the shot the previous roll. Is he thinking about slotting with the 6? I don't think that's unreasonable. It's a gamble. I don't think it's unreasonable. I wouldn't do it because I think he's got enough play on the other side to get moving with 2s and 3s. He's slotting. It might be right. It's a big play. It didn't work. I wouldn't have done it. 2 comes in to the 5. He's got to come in and up. Yeah, that's the right play. He's going to get pointed on. He desperately needs a 7. This is not a great roll for Ted. Ooh, comes in and hits. He missed it. Oh, he saw it. He saw it. Okay, that hit was big. He got a hit here too. Hitting is fun. Dean Munch, one of my old friends and mentors. Miss you, Dean. Fun guy. This play is clearly right. You must hit him off the ace. Otherwise, you're leaving too many shots and giving your opponent too much leeway. Comes in and clears. Good. Not a whole lot of fun with the 6-3 play. I think you have to just do this. You rather get hit outside than inside. It's not an easy play to leave that double shot. Is he thinking about the recue? Got some 24, 25 numbers that, oh my God, he recubes to 8. That's a great recube. Because if he misses, he still has a superior position. And if he hits, he's lost his market. I think this is a wonderful recube. If he hits, there's very little that Andi can do to stay in the game. I love this recube. Exciting action. I played a little poker earlier today. Bored out of my mind. Just want to kill a little time. It's a boring game. The only thing that makes poker exciting is if you have a big bet. Backgammon is exciting if you're playing for nothing. And he passed. Very exciting game. And I like the pass. I think he probably should. 9-0. Well, both players are playing quickly, dramatically, with vigor. I like it. I think the game should be played this fast. I think the clock, look at this. They both used almost no time on the clock. I think that's wrong. They could have both used more time on the clock. As long as you've got it, you should use it. Because there were several plays that were not clear at all what you should do, in my opinion. They may have gotten it right, but several that I thought, particularly Andi, I don't like the way he played the containment game. All right. Make the 4 point. Ooh, no. I really don't like giving up the mid here. I would rather have the 4 point than the midpoint than the 9 point, and I'd rather keep my midpoint. Don't like that. Ooh, it's punished with the hit. Ted, you're not going to double winning 9-0. Oh, it's 6-0. Am I reading it upside down? 6-0. Okay. I'm looking the other way. 6-0. Okay. He did double. Got to take it. You got to take it. It's 6-0. And you got enough game to take it. I'm pretty sure that was a bad double 4 play for Andi. Making the 9 is far inferior. I might even make 2 interboard points instead, make the 2 point and the 4 point. But I think you got to take cubes when you're losing 6-0. I think you can take cubes like that. Could be wrong. I would have taken it. So I learned this from the great Joe Sylvester, who lived with me for a few months, and I taught him gin rummy, and he became a great gin rummy player. And he taught me backgammon. I became a mediocre backgammon player. But what he was saying, and this is before the bots were active, quite a long time ago. When you're ahead quite a bit in the match, you should be playing gammon save. And when you're behind quite a bit in the match, you should be playing gammon go. Well, what does that mean? Gammon save means play more safely. Try to make an anchor in your opponent's board early and try not to get gammon and then try to win the game. Gammon go, when you're way behind, you got to play more aggressively. Slot points, bring points down. Blitz, go for gammons. Don't worry that much about getting gammon because you're behind. You want to make the game more volatile. All right, this pip count is exactly even, so nobody should be doing anything here at any score. Now, even though the pip count's even, the player on roll, which was 10, has an edge. The average roll is a little bit over 8, so you can assume he's got about an 8 pip edge. Now, what's a pip? That's a dot on the dice, and it's also a 1 checker movement from one spot to the next, 1 point to the next. And when you're up enough pips, it's clearly going to be a double. Usually about 10 or 12% in that range. I don't go by that 10-12% rule myself. I use what's called the Keith count and eyesight, and later on EPC. A lot of methods that determine when to double a race. And then you got to change everything because of the score. You got to double slower when you're winning 7-0. You got to take faster and double faster when you're losing 7-0. You got to gamble it up some. I like it. I always talk about football games. When you get towards the end of the game and you're winning, you run the ball, and if you're losing, you pass. Same thing in backgammon. This is a very tight race, just all luck from here, because there's not a whole lot of skill in playing the checkers, although there is some skill, and there's also the skill of win to double. Uh-oh, double 6, goodbye. Game over. Even at the score. Up 12 pips. There's no chance to win that game. Okay. Well, I'm willing to bet that Ted's outplaying Andi, because I just see a lot more mistakes by Andi. But you certainly can't say that Andi's rolled well. Ted's had several good jokers at the right time. Wow. That double is, I said be aggressive, but that's silly. That's just silly. I wonder if XG has something that says silly. My program that says AI would be very dramatic. It really says, "Oh, that's a big mistake. Oh, you should never do something like that." But you don't double on the first roll in situations like this. You double on the first roll at two away when you both need 2 points, and you might double on the first roll or a second roll if you're losing 2 away, 4 away. But other than that, I can't see how it could ever be right. There's no way you lose your market. So if there's no way your opponent passes on the next roll, why the heck give them the cube? It can only hurt you. Cube is a weapon, and you want to make it sting at least a little bit. So I really, really hated that cube. So what's the biggest mistake people make when they're down too far? They play way too wild. What's the biggest mistake people make when they're up a lot? They play way too safely. It's just human nature. All right, Ted, make some points. Or make the 5 point and slot the 4. It's messy, but you made this mess. I wouldn't have made it as messy as he did. I didn't like a few of Ted's plays there, but okay, he finally listened to me, Ted. We agree on a play. Ted's a very fine player. I don't know what his PRs are, but I know I played him enough to know he plays the game very well. This is not an easy one. I guess you bring 2 down. You just don't want to get gammoned, and so let the guy have 2 points, not 4. You got a game that's probably going to lose anyway. I don't like making the ace point. Oh, no, I don't like that. But holding on to the midpoint might have some value, especially if your opponent rolls 1s. Yeah. Now he has less flexibility, not more. This is terrible. That's why I would come off the mid. There's another reason I would have come off the mid last time. I would not leave a shot. I would not keep trying to win this game. I would play 6 to 5.
6 to 4.
Oh, it's 6 to 4. Yeah, because the 1 covers. Yeah, I would not leave a shot. I would say to myself, I'm probably not going to win this game no matter what I do, so let's not get gammoned. This plays fine too. All right, he gets his shot. He's a 1 or an 8. Missed. What a fine double by Andi. Did I say that? What a wonderful double he gave this game. I hope nobody was listening when I said I hated it. Sure, it turned out good. He might win a gammon. The odds are he won't win a gammon, by the way. Now, gammon is pretty much impossible. I shouldn't use that term. In backgammon, impossible is crazy. But I'm willing to make a little bet on it. Okay. I hope this doesn't teach Andi he should double on the first or second roll every game. And Ted certainly is going to grab it. I've never seen Ted upset over the board. He's always just a great attitude. That's the right play with the 2-1, whether you're winning or losing, even though you get hit twice with the 6-4. You should always slot with the 2-1. Even when you're ahead, you do that. Computer just likes it, and I do too. Great roll by Ted. Well, he's holding off on the cube. I can see why. 5-4. I make the 8-point. I don't continue the blitz. Well, maybe it's right. Oh, yeah. He's got a 6 to cover. Sure. And you don't double because you're too good to double. Keep rolling, Ted. You're too good. You're going to win too many gammons, and you don't lose that often. So you just keep rolling here. If you double, who knows? Maybe if you think the guy might take, I would double. But I don't think that Andy would take this cube. So I always use Woolsey's law. I ask myself, what would my opponent do if I were to double? Would he take or pass? Actually, I ask what I would do if I were him or her. And I agree with Ted's play there, going on for the gammon. 3 more builders in. Bring the 5 down. Get you more builders, right? And the 6 is a great builder. You want to make the 4-point, all right? You just run the back checker and get yourself another builder. Okay. Now you must hit that checker, and you hit it the best way you could. So it looks like Ted's going to win 2 points, but it's not guaranteed. We saw Ted about to win a backgammon, and he didn't even win a gammon that first game. But that's ancient history. Let's focus on now. It's the right play. So Ted wins this game for sure, unless he leaves a shot, and he might win a gammon. Probably wins a gammon if he doesn't leave a shot. I would play 6 to, I don't like that play. I would have played 6 to 5. I want to clear from the rear. Even though 6-5 leaves a shot, I like that better. Double 6 and double 5 leave shots, but you want to clear from the rear. Now I see he risks a double shot if he rolls a 6-5. That's why I don't like getting into this position. But he got away with it. Now he doesn't leave a double shot. He leaves a shot with 6-4, double 6, double 5, double 4, 4-3 plays. Make your 5-point good play. You're only going to get gammon anyway once. All right. Now there's a lot of 2 high numbers. Leave a shot. You'd like a 1 or a 2, or possibly a 3, depending on not a 1, not that 2. Okay. Any shot is missed again. You don't want to get backgammoned. So I think you run out here. I would have run out. I don't think I need 2 checkers there. See, now he's risking the backgammon again. We're back to the coup classique, which is 3 checkers left. If Ted rolls a 1, it would be very exciting. Now he needs a 1. He got it again. It's the second time that he might have been backgammon that he hit the 1. Oh my goodness. Now he has the 6 prime, so he's almost certainly going to get off the gammon. Unless something, but these things, some crazy things happen. You must slot the 4 with the 5. No. You always keep slotting the front of your prime. That's the best way to advance it. He did now. He should have done it last time. The way to advance the prime is to slot the front of the prime. If he rolls a 2 or a 4, you should do it. So you always risk rolling some crazy double 5 or double 4 or something later that screws you up.
So Phil, we got a question from the audience.
Okay.
What sort of thinking about cubes should Ted be thinking when he's got only 1 checker like this? Should he be taking the cube because he knows he's not going to get the gammon, or is it risky to do that because he knows he's going to get redoubled? Or what's your thoughts?
Somebody asked the question. Did they hear you, Stuart? Did the audience hear what you said?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Ted passing a cube?
Yeah, Ted could pretty much double and get a pass anytime because again, he's going to win 92% of the time after the board is completely closed. So Ted could double right now and should get a pass. I don't know why he is waiting, come to think of it, because he's thinking he might still win a gammon. But at the point where he can't win a gammon anymore, like right now, he still could roll a 2-6 or 1 double 1 or something and maybe win a gammon. But he could end this game by doubling right now. And he's not going to win a gammon, so why not double when your opponent only has an 8%? However, What is the take point here? If he doubles and takes, he would absolutely recube right away, probably at the score. So maybe 8% is close. Maybe you don't double when it's 8%. It gets a little tricky. It isn't automatic, but I'm pretty sure it was double pass just about any time. And I still, I think it's fun that they play this fast, but it's not always right to play this fast. I mean, Ted could double now. How can he take? And Ted should double now. I mean, I guess there's a possibility he could lose with a bunch of double sixes, but why not double it in the game? You can't win a game, so why leave the cube in the middle? I guess Ted figures it just doesn't matter that much, but it might have mattered. His opponent might have made a mistake and take. So I always say, and when it comes to cube action, there is no way your opponent can make a mistake if you don't double. So what's one more reason to double if you think it might be a double is he might make a mistake. And if you don't double, there's only one person who could have been making that mistake. That doesn't mean you should double every time. That means when you're close and you're on the fence there, as far as whether you should take or not, or you're not quite sure about a double, there is that one added attraction of doubling, is your opponent could make a mistake. And by the way, if you look at XG, and let's say you make a mistake and you doubled, it was maybe a blunder. Maybe you made an 8% error. That's called blunder in doubling. They'll also tell you that it's okay to make that 8% error if you're going to get a pass a certain percentage of the time. Like if 20% of the players you play would pass it, even though you shouldn't have doubled, maybe it was okay. So usually you're not going to get much advantage by doubling when it's a blunder, but what if you're doubling when it's just a small mistake? I think that's the right thing to do when you're not playing Mochi or one of the top players in the world, because they're going to be scared. They're going to get it wrong, especially when they're way behind or way ahead. So I'm sure that Ted missed some doubles. That was a great question, by the way. Thank you for asking that. I was sort of going along watching the action and not thinking about the cube myself at that point. The cube would have been very interesting there. Whoever asked that question really has some good insight into this game. Doesn't anybody have any questions about my personal life? Don't you want to know why I retired from a very good position in real estate to play backgammon the rest of my life? I'll tell you real quick. I went to an Anthony Robbins seminar. He said, make your vacation your vocation. I retired from real estate a week later and never looked back. And I've had the most fun life that anybody in the world could ever have, and more great friends, all because of backgammon. So I recommend you all get divorced, quit your job, and play backgammon. You don't have to get a divorce. And you don't have to quit your job. You can do both. You find a way to balance your life better than I was able to. Back to the game. A 1-5 back game sucks. It's terrible. It doesn't win very often. It never gets a double shot. If you hit, you're stuck on the other point. It's just really, really bad. And at a normal score, I would often double early on a 1-5 back game. Not when I'm winning 9-2.
Looks like
So I agree with Ted's not cubing.
Ted was writing in the chat. I just realized I forgot to double. So it was not a strategic value. It was a pure memory lapse.
Well, there were points where he was right to hold, because he might have, even after he got hit, he could still win a gammon and get lucky. So I'm not sure right after he got hit, he was wrong not to double, because the prime did get broken and he did have some rolls where he could still win a gammon. So as long as he could still win a gammon, it certainly wasn't a double. But there were points where it was clear he wouldn't get a gammon, and that's when he forgot to double. But look, Ted realized that he's probably hit himself in the head. You'll see a red mark on his forehead where he hit himself in the head. I really like Ted. He's just a good guy, good for the game. And I really do my best to be nice to and like everybody who runs clubs. They're the backbone of the game. It's a horrible, thankless job. I did it myself and hated it because I always had one or two jerks that didn't appreciate what we were doing. If things weren't exactly the way they wanted it, they complained. Uh, it's a thankless, terrible job. And you really, really need to be nice to these people. And Ted has been doing it for years. I mean, there are a couple of people who run tournaments out there and run clubs that they're not my favorite people in the world, but I'm going to be as nice as I can to them anyway, because for what they do for the game, for their self-sacrifice.
Ted runs two monthly matches, both one in Berkeley and one in Saratoga. And, it's an all day
Ah,
thing. You're there from 11 a.m. till 8 or 9 p.m. usually because the buy ins at these tournaments are $100 buy ins with a side pool of 50 or another 100. And then there's also an intermediate division that starts at $40 with a side pool as well. And there's 30, 40 players in these things. And then they play 11-point matches, which is kind of
that's
unusual.
work.
Oh, I'm sorry. I believe they play
Yeah,
9-point matches, which is unusual for clubs, but it's pretty exciting. Anyway, back to the match.
yeah, that's very unusual. That's not your typical club. Well, most clubs meet once a week and play more casually, but that's a lot of work, and there's a lot of work before and after the tournaments, not just the day that you're there. So he's running real tournaments. He's not just running a club. Good for him.
Half the people at his tournaments have won an ABT Open event. So it's really serious competition there. You got Kit
Wow.
Woolsey, Alexander
Wow.
Andon, Ted, Alex Strell, a number of other accomplished players. So it's always a good time.
Oh, don't forget my friend Ken Bame. Ken Bame is there.
Ken Bain, yeah.
Very nice player. Jeremy Begai, I think, is in that area.
Jeremy Beguy is there too. Yep.
Uh, Mac Ballard, although he's not playing, he's probably the best player in that area, but he's not playing for a while. Love to see him come back. I hear he might come back someday. He may be the best player ever, although right now Mochi's proving to take that title. Okay, this is close. You can see why he didn't double, uh, because he knows he's got a partner who's the opponent was going to take. But look, it's hard to double when you're winning 9-2. And it's hard to pass when you're losing 9-2 because you got a big, big recube. I'm not sure that was the take. I'm sure he was right to double. Even at that score, it might have been a pass. It's just a lousy game, 2-point holding game.
Oh, by the
Good
way,
news is
Phil,
2-point holding game gets in.
by
Yeah.
your friend Kit Woolsey just won the Ohio Open.
Oh, great.
Or I'm
Is
sorry,
that,
he won the undefeated, but he still has one more match to win the grand final.
good for him. I couldn't make the Ohio Open because of travel. When I started playing for a lot of money back in the 1970s, I immediately called Kit Woolsey because I knew him from bridge. I was a life master of bridge, and I knew him from bridge and took lessons from him. And the very first lesson I had was Woolsey's Law. So I owe Kit a lot, and we've been great friends since. It's continued to be a real force in backgammon for all these years, as well as I think he's ranked number 5 in the world in bridge as well. He's written books in bridge and backgammon. The man's a genius. There is a book out there on the top 10 uh, gamblers across many different, I think it's gamblers or players of games. And Kit's named as one of the top 10 all time. In the meantime, you got to like Ted's play, his double. I'm not sure about the take at this score. Even at this score, he had a pretty lousy game, and he gets punished for it. And now the score will be 11-2. I don't think that's the right way to say the score. In backgammon, the score is 2 away, 11 away. It's how many points you need that matters. And I think our scoreboard should actually say the away score, but some people will disagree with me. When I play tennis, I say 40 love. I say the right score based on the game. So right now, Ted needs 2 points to win the match, and he's not going to turn that cube until he's like 95% or more. And actually, as you would guess, Andy should be very, very liberal with the cube. I like this double. This is a very good double and a pass. I agree with both. Very quick double, very quick pass. Anything that's gammonish at all, Ted should drop. Anything that's not gammonish, he should take. Because how much does it hurt to lose 2 points? And winning 2 points wins you the match. So if you're not going to get gammon, you can take just about every cube. That position was sort of gammonish. Now, a lot of people don't double that fast when their opponent is two away. They think, oh my God, I give them the cube and they win the match. But how bad is it if you just lose 1 point? It's pretty lousy anyway, because your opponent gets to Crawford, and you can't double for one game, and you're in the tank anyway. So when your opponent's two away, you should be doubling faster. And there's another reason: you never have to worry about getting recubed. The cube isn't a weapon for your opponent like it is in other scores. So you should be very quick to double. I would be doubling here, I think, if I were Andy. He's got 4 back. That's kind of gammonish. I would have given the cube right there. I'm not sure if he had enough market losers or any market losers. So that's also a factor. If he's going to take no matter what next time, no point in giving the cube. But I think he might have had a market loser or two. I wouldn't double here from the bar. The position got worse for him. A couple rolls ago, I think I would have given that cube. And now he's happy he didn't. Ted came out smelling like a rose. I would come out with the last one while he's on the bar. It's reasonable to go to the 4. I like this play. I like most of Ted's play. I have to tell you, I'm putting my neck, sticking my neck out here. But when you put this in XG, it will evaluate the players and tell you who played better, who had the lower PR. PR standing for performance rating. I have to say, I helped. One of the ways I helped in the development of extreme gammon is I came up with that term, because the previous bot, Snowy, used ER, error rating. I think performance is more accurate. So I think that Ted has outplayed him, is what I'm saying. It's not just luck that he's winning 11-3. But we'll see the luck factor. Actually, I think that Andy was pretty lucky to get off of 2 backgammons. Do you call that lucky? Comes in and hits. Hits. Did he miss the hit? Oh my God. Oh, he took it back. Okay. I mean, that wouldn't be like Ted. They're both playing way too fast. If either of them were my students now, I'd slap them. Say, slow down. Take a little more time. Think about it. Plus, he's not giving me enough time to talk. If they would go slower, I could tell more stories. I could tell some of my jokes. That's why people listen to my commentary. It's not because I know anything about backgammon.
Yeah, I can see you
So there's a
being.
really good saying when you're up in the race. Pardon me?
I could see you being, a really, really tough backgammon coach, really putting your students through the paces and slapping them when they make a blunder, really, really enforces the move.
Well, I learned that from my good friend and mentor, Jake Jacobs. We were playing in a chouette, and he told me about a play that I should make. And he said, you always do this in this situation. And a month later, we're playing in the chouette, and I'm his partner, and I don't make the right play, and he hit me at the back of the head. I have never missed that play since. And that was 40 years ago, maybe 50 years ago. I'm not sure. I'm 81 years old. I've been playing this game for about 70 years. So I can't remember exactly what time it was, but that hit really made me remember it. Now, I'll tell you what I do now. I give most of my lessons online. And if anybody is thinking about cubing and doesn't use Woolsey's Law, they hear me slap the table. And if I'm with them live, I'll slap them. And they will never forget it. So it really does work to be tough.
That's pretty funny.
Well, it works. We become a good student. I think in the old days when the nuns were hitting the kids on the knuckles with their rulers, which I'm not advocating. It certainly did make them listen.
Yeah, instead of walking
My
around with
friends who
like
went to
a
camping
a stick and smacking their hands or something, you can give them one of your bracelets and then snap it when they make a mistake.
That's a good idea. He's talking about my bracelets. I'm always wearing a bunch of bracelets, and I do it because it's fun. And every time that somebody asks me about it, I give it away, whether they're a waitress at a restaurant or a backgammon friend. But I have something new that I was just in Peru at a tournament and I didn't win. And each player that beat me got a bracelet that said I beat Phil. And people were dying to play me. And four people walked away from Peru with bracelets saying I beat Phil. I used to have I beat Phil hats, but
We got a
I was
question
losing
from
so much I couldn't afford it.
we got a question from the audience. I want to try myself on free online tournaments. What do you recommend? Well, obviously, besides this USBGF Online Championship, which has already started, so it's too late to attend, there are many other free to play tournaments on usbgf.org, but I'm sure Phil knows a few others.
I really don't know a few others. There's places to play free, like on Heroes and on Backgammon Galaxy. But as far as online tournaments, I think you really need to join USBGF and join your other federations around the world and watch for you get emails and notices of these events and tournaments. So again, my number one recommendation is join USBGF and pay attention.
We also have another question. Well,
Now there are
it's a comment with a question. I didn't know you were so funny, so take that as you will. And then the second question is, how much are your lessons?
I'm $300 an hour. I'm too expensive for most people. But I have teachers that are as low as $100 an hour, all the way up to $500 an hour. Mochi's around $400 or $500 an hour, but I have very fine teachers. Most of them are around $150 an hour for intermediates. If you're a beginner, I don't recommend starting with lessons. I always recommend watch YouTube a little bit, and I recommend a couple of books and articles, and then take lessons. But if you have money and you don't care about spending a little money, the beginner lessons start at $100 an hour. And I have very fine teachers that both Perry and I have coached and certified, and we have given them a curriculum, the proper curriculum and way to teach, and they record their lessons and we critique them, so we know they're very good teachers. So go to backgammonlearningcenter.com or shoot me an email at phil@sim.org, phil@simb.org, and tell me where you live and your level, and I'll find a good teacher for you. And by the way, we have teachers in 14 different languages. Thank you for the question. I'm $300 an hour, and live I might sometimes a little bit more if I have to travel. I have fortunate enough to have some very wealthy students that fly me in their private jets. I spent one day on an 80-foot yacht last week playing and teaching backgammon with a student in Peru.
Wow.
5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms on the yacht.
Is he paying you a
And I've
day
been on
rate or
private
something?
jets, so
Is he paying you a day rate or something to be on the yacht,
well,
or is the yacht just a bonus?
he took my entire family that was with me and relatives of 10 people and bought us lunch and dinner and everything. So I didn't charge him that day.
Wow.
Plus, he's been my student for quite a while. I've given him a lot of lessons, and it was more of a social day. But that's the kind of students that I have, and I'm very fortunate. I get to travel all over the world and do commentary and teach, and it's just I do make a decent living playing backgammon and teaching and coaching. Of course, I'm involved in software and boards and all kinds of other things too. But it's been a fun life. I'm having a great time.
So what's Andy's
Lessons
game
are
plan here? How does he come back from a 9-point deficit?
He's doing a good job of being very aggressive with the cube and going after gammons when you can. Again, there's no reason to double right now because there's no way in the world that Ted has a pass no matter what he rolls. But and having the golden point. The golden point is your opponent's 5 point. So Ted is holding his opponent's 5 point, which means he hardly ever gets gammon. So Ted's going to take anything here, and there's just no reason to give the cube that soon. So I was a little critical earlier when Andi doubled on the first roll, and I think he's showing great restraint here not to be doubling this. So he either learned his lesson or he's being smarter about it now. But again, they're both playing ridiculously fast. If this is the finals and there was a big event and there was $50,000 at stake, I don't think they would. I think you see more time on the clock, even with Ted playing. Although I don't know about Ted. Ted just loves to play fast. By the way, there are players I know that are great speed players. David Wells, Stick are two of the best I think in the world. They intentionally play fast because and Mochi could, although Mochi timed out in Uzbekistan the other day against who did he time out against? Ethan Price Chu. But he timed out in a situation where he probably would have lost anyway. But can you imagine Mochi timing out? I've seen a lot of great players time out, so you got to be careful about using too much time also. All right, let's get back to this game that's going on right now. It's not a boring game. It's just a back and forth game. We just don't know who's going to win it. Having a 5-point anchor is better than having the 4-point anchor. Now, why are you hesitating here? What is the problem? Is he thinking about hitting twice and going for the blitz or making the bar? I guess that is a legitimate question. I hate blitzing when my opponent has the 4-point. I would make the bar point. And looks like Ted agreed with me, but could have been wrong. I might have been right to blitz there. You don't have a great priming game when your opponent has the 4-point. Out and make the 8. Make the 8. Oh, I would have made the 8 there. That's my play, Ted. Could also make the 1-point. There's a lot of plays here. Again, I don't like making the 1-point. I don't like blitzing here. I liked out and making the 8. I don't see that play. I just don't see the logic. The 8-point's a very valuable point here. Midpoint doesn't have much value at all when your opponent doesn't have any outfield. Hit and make the 8. Yep. Can't make the 5 there and leave all those shots. Anytime you can pick the 5-point, you got to think about it. At least it's got to enter your mind. I still think it's right for holding off on the cube. Sort of hit and continue. Ooh, the double hit there. Yeah, I can see that play. I was thinking hit and continue. I didn't think about the double hit. But I guess with the blot on the other side, it might be right. You're going to hit the blot, you get double hit it again. Now's a fun time to double hit. You get 3 on the bar. See, Ted can win this match without doubling by winning a gammon. So that's another reason why you don't give the cube, aside from the fact that your opponent might grab it and turn it back at 4 immediately. If you can win an undoubled gammon and win the match, that's a real incentive to play on. What's the question here? There's only 1, 2 you can possibly play. It's 10 to 8. Oh, 2 on the bar. You might play 8-6. Or out, yeah. 2 on the bar. You can do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Ted should definitely try for the undoubled gammon. So interesting. I didn't see that play. I didn't even think of it. I would have over the board, I guess, but it doesn't look right to me. Yeah, I didn't like hitting off the ace there. Let's just stack the two on the bar. I guess you can play more aggressively. I would have stacked the 20 point. I don't want to see any accidents like double four, double five, double one. I just stacked the 20 point. Well, he's got to make the 5 point. You have to make the 5 point here. There he goes. He finally made it. Ted was just teasing there. I like to watch Mochi play. His first reaction is to make a horrible play, then take it back, and everybody's in shock. Why would he do that? But he wants to see what it looked like, so he makes sure he doesn't do it, I guess. Sometimes Mochi's initial plays are so ridiculous, and then we think, by the way, sometimes they turn out to be right. Is that Mochi knows things that we don't. But Ted just did that by not making the 5 point, making us wonder what's going on. Okay,
Yeah.
this is the 1-4 back game. That's not terrible. Do you have comments, Stu?
I was saying I've seen that habit from Mochi quite a lot, and I always wonder like, is he sort of baiting people, like sort of trying to like look like he makes a bad move and kind of like looking for a reaction from the opponent, like, oh yes, please make that move, please make that move, or, but I'm sure it's probably just a more considerate manner. But I always wonder like what the heck is he thinking?
Well, I think he wants to not miss anything, and he wants to. He says, "Okay, here's a possible move. Let me make sure and rule it out first." Maybe I think that's really what he's doing. He's a very serious, methodical player. He's not goofing around. So he thinks it might be a possibility, and he wants to rule it out. And sometimes he doesn't rule it out. Sometimes that play that you wouldn't have thought of, he looks at first, and it turns out to be right. I think it's a waste of time if it's clearly wrong. And I think he does a lot of things that waste time. And again, he just clocked out, and he almost every one of his matches he's down to almost no time. But who am I to say to criticize the best player in the world, maybe the best player ever? He always runs out of time. I just think I teach that you shouldn't do that. You need to save time for the end of the match where it's more important. But I've asked Mochi about it. He and I are good friends. We're partners in several things, and he's never given me a straight answer. He's got reasons he doesn't want me to know about. I'll never figure that out. I've seen him take a long, long time in place in the first game of a 21 point match. Okay, this game is almost to the point where Stu's gonna. I mean, where Stu. I'm sorry. Andi should be sorry he didn't double. Maybe he may have lost his market. There's too many gammons here. Even with the 1-4 game, when two on the bar, he's thinking now, if I double, will Ted drop? Ted would absolutely drop here. There's way too many gammons. He's thinking, should I play on for the gammon? I think you should go ahead and double and hope that Ted takes. And if he drops, fine, take your point.
I
I think
think,
the odds of Ted anchoring is pretty good.
is this a total pass for Ted? Because I see like possibility that he might take it to just close it out.
At, at this score, I'm passing if I'm Ted.
Okay.
But the good question that you asked, you made was a good point. If you're not sure if you should take or a pass, then for sure you give the cube. I think the only reason not to cube here is if you think you're too good, and I don't think he's got enough ammunition to fill the blitz with those four checkers back. And he's got the wrong points made. I think it's a double pass. But if I'm Andi, I would love to see him take this cube. I think that's a great chance to get back in this match. I would absolutely double,
Oh, there it is.
and I would absolutely pass. He did double, okay, and I would pass.
Okay.
This is very, very gammonish. I agree with both actions. I have no idea what XG says. I'm not looking at a feed, but I think that was a double and a pass. Okay, we're getting more of a match now. 6 away. That's 6 away. That's 8 away, 2 away. It's still gammon go, gammon save for me. This is a great roll for Ted. If you hadn't had that great roll, you might have seen a cube. Come in on the 2 and bring the 5 down. Well, Andy, I liked one of your plays. I don't mean to be that critical. I liked a lot of his plays, but we agreed on that one. Another great roll for Ted. Made the 5 point instead of the 7. You often have that choice, and you're almost always right to make the 5. Whoa, big roll. Now we should see a cube soon. Even though he came in, this might be a double. A 6 would hurt him a lot. You must hit.
Oh,
Come down.
wow.
Ted's rolling beautifully, getting out of real trouble here. What's the question here? Okay. Dances. Now Ted survived, dodged a bullet here. He was in big, big trouble and did well. Ted, no, you cannot double. You cannot double. He's going to grab it if you double. At this score, you got to be gin to double. This is the right play. Just bring it home. Even if you just win 1 point, you're very happy. Being 1 away, 8 away Crawford, I don't know what that equity is, but it's got to be close to like 5 or 6%, 95% for Ted. So he doesn't mind winning 1 point. If he doubled now, I would take. I think you win a lot more than 5 or 6%. Thank you to Neil Kazaros for developing a really fine match equity table. And by the way, that's what Extreme Gammon uses. They believe that Neil's right when he says that how often you're going to win from a certain score. It's been tested quite a bit. He's done a great job with it. He updated it once or twice with David Rockwell, and we all pretty much believe in it. Some of it you can figure out easily mathematically. You know that it's 1 away, 2 away. You know your odds of winning. You have to win 2 games in a row, which is 25%, or maybe a gammon, which adds another 7%. So you know you're 32%. You can figure these things out. 1 away, 3 away Crawford. You know, it's 25%. You got to win 2 games. Although you might win in backgammon, but the longer scores, so you just have to believe Neil Kazaros, who's still a great player, been around quite a long time. Was almost always the number 2 or 3 giant for many years. Back when Falafel was number 1 and Mochi was just getting up there, Neck Ballard. Ooh, a double. I'm a little surprised at that.
Who is the last person you'd want to see join your chouette? Who is just so good and always good at taking your money? I'm sure you would still welcome them with open arms. But who's that person that you're like,
well, there's a bunch of, but when it comes to money, David Wells is my is my vote. David has been ranked as high as number 5 in the world. He's still playing tremendously, as good as anybody in the world. But when it comes to money, you know, he's a fantastic poker player too. He's so cold and vicious. He's the last person I want to play for money. The other one is Akiko. Akiko is just so smart and so cool in money games. But I played both of them often. They're both good friends of mine, but I only play in variations where I have a chance because I'm good at variations. And we don't play for a lot of money when we play each other. It's more of a friendship thing.
What sort of variations do you guys play?
You can't rule out. Oh, my favorite new variation is Future Gammon. That's where you see your opponent's roll. You see your opponent's next roll before you play. I invented that about 6 months ago, and it's turned out to be really fun. But I play Pineapple Bluff Gammon, Pasco Gammon. Those are 3 games that I invented, so I like them for that. But I love Knack Gammon. There's like 12 different variations, but Pasco Gammon and Akiko and I play nothing but Pineapple Bluff Gammon with 3 dice, and you 2 doubling cubes and bluffing, and it's really fun. Another game I didn't invent is Liar's Backgammon, which I love. It was a side event in Boston one year, and I've loved it ever since. But I love these variations because you have to think out of the box. You can't use XG or your
Yeah.
previous knowledge. They're complicated.
Yeah, it's kind of like
But
poker
in a money game,
when you get bored of hold'em,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden
well,
you start playing Omaha high low, and then all of a sudden it just changes the game so much. You know.
yeah, well, right. In Pineapple Bluff Gammon, you see your dice, and then and your opponent doesn't, and then you can double and completely bluff. And Akiko was not only one of the best backgammon players in the world, she won the Japan Poker Championship, and here I am playing her for money. In the meantime, look what's going on here. Ted's really being punished for
We'll see if
giving that cube.
Ted can get hit with one last piece again, but if only if Andy doesn't roll a 6, right?
Yeah, Ted's really being punished by winning 4 points here instead of 2. But I didn't like the cube, but it looks like it's turning out pretty good. At that score, I would never have cubed there.
Isn't this a terrible idea to run?
I can't wait to see this match in XG. I can't wait to see this match in XG and find out how wrong I was about several of my comments. But I don't think people are listening to my commentary to hear what's right. They're listening because it's maybe a little more fun. And I'm willing to admit I'm going to be wrong quite a bit. This match is over, and barring a miracle. And you know, in backgammon, miracles happen all the time. 6-2. I don't think we're going to see the miracle. Stu, I want to thank you again for all the work you do as marketing and setting this up, and thank you for having me. I'm honored and appreciate your having me as a commentator. I hope everybody enjoyed it. You can contact me or go to the backgammonlearningcenter.com for more information. And keep watching USBGF and join you so you know when these things are going on.
Which moves did you want to look at, Phil?
Everyone, I want to look at the last cube for sure. Can you actually look at that?
This one?
I really didn't think Ted should have doubled there.
Yeah, Ted's double here was a big no-no.
Big no-no. Yeah, well, yeah, this score, you know you're going to get it back at 4, and you know, plus the fact that you could win the whole match without cubing. But I can't remember all the situations that we were earlier. I'm going to actually download the match, run it through XG, not because I'm curious to see what mistakes they make. I'm curious to see what mistakes I made. I want to know where I was wrong. And I'm going to right now give an open apology to both players for wherever I may have criticized a player or cube action where I said I didn't like it, and maybe they were right and I was wrong. So we'll see. But I don't think my goal at the commentary, if you want a commentator that's going to be right all the time, you should get Mochi. By the way, he's a great commentator too. But he's too busy playing in Uzbekistan and trying to make millions of dollars playing. But
let's see what else there was.
Any final questions from anybody who is watching? I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about the match. Congratulations to Ted. He played with guts and gusto. Remember, there were 2 games where Ted had a gammon for sure, and maybe a backgammon that Andy got lucky and got off of those. So I don't think it was just luck here. I think Ted really outplayed him.
Hello.
But that's the only thing I want to say. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you could hear me or not.
We got
yeah,
Ted here.
I was pretty lucky that match, obviously.
Oh, Ted, hey, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Nice to see you. Yeah, Ted, why did you play so damn fast? Because you only like to play fast?
I don't know. I have to go to work later after this match, but
I usually play fast if I'm hungry and I have to go eat.
Yeah, I realized I made that. Well, I don't know if it was a blunder, but I played the 3-2 where I hit him and moved to the 7. I should have played slower and counted the shots. Maybe I gave him too many shots. I'm not sure.
Well, don't feel bad. I thought you made many worse plays than that.
Okay, yeah, I probably did.
Your last double, we know your last double in the last game was really not good at all. And I
It's
said
too
so
early.
immediately.
Yeah,
Well,
I wasn't
I mean,
sure.
you
I
know,
figured I'd let him decide.
well,
Uh,
2 away, 11 away. You don't give cubes too soon.
that's
You
true.
know,
That's true.
yeah. Plus, you know, you can win the match without doubling anyway. But you know, I said all along I thought you played very, very well and with great gusto. And I'm happy you won because I consider you to be a good friend, and I really respect all you do for the game. So I'm happy to see you win, and I hope you win the whole thing. I hope you keep going.
Well, fingers crossed. Thanks for commenting on
What
the
are your
match, and I
comments
look
about
forward to
the?
watching it.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
that's
well,
thank
I
you
want to see you
everybody.
next
Thank you
game.
Ted. Thank you Phil. Thank you. We'll be trying to do more of these on maybe a weekly and bi-monthly basis to get more matches as we see the cream rise to the top, as we like to say, where we have the best records will fight the best records. Right now, and not to toot my own horn, I'm one of the few people with 3-0 records. Maybe we'll be streaming me and someone next time. We'll see if I can do both at once. But Ted is obviously one of my backgammon role models and trying to play like Ted and obviously play like Phil as well. So again, thank you everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.